મારું નામ છે નટુભાઈ મહેતા અને હું નવનાથ વડીલ મંડળમાં સેક્રેટરીની પોસ્ટ ઉપર સર્વ કરું છું. So I would like to welcome you all to today's program. Firstly, may I thank and welcome Dilip Bhai Mithani, President of Navnath Vanik Association, Upendra Bhai Shah, Advisor to Navnath Vadil Mandal, and of course, the President of Navnath Vadil Mandal, Sri Nalin Bhai Udani. All the people I just mentioned have been pivotal in organizing our programs on Zoom. Zoom team, under the leadership of Arvind Bhai Mehta, you people work so hard and with dedication that no matter how we thank you is not enough. On behalf of all the viewers and Jains at large, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for giving us this service day in, day out. Now coming to today's program. First, we will see a short clip on census, and then we have got two people connected to census, and they are from the Office of National Statistics, who will explain it to us and why it is important for the Jains as a community who work so hard and with dedication, paying taxes and big businesses who employ people in different diversified industries. After that, we will have Hope and Hiten to explain Census 2021. We have got Hiten Patel, who is associated to the Office of National Statistics through Hillingdon Borough Council. This talk will be in English and Gujarati. Then we'll have a session of questions and answers on census. So please put your questions on chat and they will be picked up by Nitin Bhai, who will read out for our guests to answer. This will be followed by Mehul Bhai Sangrajka, who you all know. He is one of the members on the Board of Advisors of Navnath Vanik Association. And he's going to give us a talk on the contribution of Jain community to this country. So now the census is here. I think we Jains can take advantage of services on offer to us. Then we have Dr. Shantanu Sharma, a professional Sitar player from about 8:30 onwards. So now, Arvind Bhai, can we please have the short video on census, please?
Jai Janendra. This is Bob Blackman, MP for Harrow East and Vice Chairman of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for British Jains. On March 21st, we have the census in the United Kingdom. This census helps capture the details of everyone that lives in the United Kingdom, but also various facets about them, so that public bodies, be it local authorities, be it national government, and all sorts of sets of organisations, determine the type and structure of services that are going to be needed for the population of this country. It's therefore vitally important that on Census Day, on March 21st, you complete the census. Now, the important question for British Jains is question number 16. This is the question on religion. So when you answer question 16, which is voluntary, but we urge you to answer it, please tick other on religion and then write in Jain. That will enable the local authorities and the government to establish exactly the level of numbers of Jains in the United Kingdom, so we can then lobby to make sure that services and various different aspects of the religion are not only recognised but supported through public services. So just remember, March 21st, complete the census, question number 16, tick other, write in Jain. If you're completing the online version, it's easier to do because Jain is a drop-down window on the census. But the written version is very simple. Once again, March 21st. Question 16. Tick other, write in Jane. Jay Janendra.
My name's Gareth Thomas. I'm the chair of the all-party group in the House of Commons for Janes, and I'm the Member of Parliament for Harrow West. On the 21st of March, it's National Census Day, and I want to encourage you to think in particular about question 16 of the census, because that's the chance to get Jainism in the UK properly recognised and properly understood. Question 16 is going to give you the choice of selecting which religion you want to be determined as. It's a voluntary question, you don't have to answer it, but if you're proud of your Jainism, make sure you choose other first and then select Jain. Choose other, select Jain. Question 16, National Census Day. Let's get Jainism properly recognised and understood in the UK. Thanks very much. Please take part.
Census Day is on 21st March 2021. The census is a survey that happens every 10 years and gives us a picture of all the people and households in England and Wales. By identifying as Jain, you will help make sure that we are considered in decisions on funding and services. This may include whether local hospitals serve Jain meals, schools teach Jainism in RE, or councils provide suitable care homes and crematoria. Census 2021 will be available in both electronic and paper formats. In both formats, question 16 asks for your religion. This is a voluntary question, but if you would like to be identified as Jain, here's your chance. Select other and either write or type in Jain. So remember, choose other, select Jain. You can get more help and information from your local Jain organization.
એકવીસમી માર્ચ 2021 વસ્તી ગણતરીનો દિવસ છે. આ ગણતરી દર 10 વર્ષે થાય છે અને ઇંગ્લેન્ડ અને વેલ્સના રહેવાસીઓની માહિતી મળે છે. જૈન તરીકે તમારી ઓળખ આપો તો ફંડ અને અન્ય સેવાઓ મેળવવામાં આપણી ગણતરી થાય. આનાથી સ્થાનિક હોસ્પિટલમાં જૈન ભોજન મળે, ધાર્મિક શિક્ષણ રૂપે શાળાઓમાં જૈન ધર્મ શીખવાય, કાઉન્સિલો કેર હોમ અને સ્મશાન ગૃહોની સગવડતા ઉપલબ્ધ કરે. વસ્તી ગણતરી ફોર્મ કાગળ ઉપર કે ડિજિટલી મળી શકશે. બંનેમાં પ્રશ્ન નંબર 16 તમારો ધર્મ કયો છે તે પૂછે છે. આ ફરજિયાત નથી, પણ જૈન તરીકે ઓળખાવા માટે આ સુંદર તક છે. તો અધર અન્ય પસંદ કરીને હાથે લખો કે ટાઈપ કરો જૈન. યાદ રહે, અધર પસંદ કરો અને જૈન છો તેમ જણાવો. વધુ માહિતી તમારી સ્થાનિક જૈન સંસ્થા તરફથી મળશે.
આપણા ખાસ મેમ્બર, one of our members, રંજનબેન વસા, who passed away last night. તો એના નામમાં આપણે 1 મિનિટ સાયલન્સ રાખશું. હોપ પ્રોગ્રામ ચાલુ કરે એની પહેલા. થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ બધાને. એક મારે ખાસ બીજું એનાઉન્સ કરવાનું છે. મીનાક્ષીબેન અરવિંદભાઈ શાહ, એમનો બર્થડે હતો ગઈકાલે, તો એમના તરફથી નવનાથ વડીલ મંડળને 21 પાઉન્ડ મળેલ છે. તો તેના બદલ થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ. Now over to Hope and Hiten. Thank you. Over to you, Hope.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you very, very much for inviting myself and Hiten to this lovely, lovely meeting. My name is Hope Diobi, and I'm here with my colleague Hiten Patel. We both work for the ONS on this Census 2021. It's lovely to have seen the videos that have already been done, and a lot of what they've said I will be repeating because the message is consistent. I just want to actually take you through a few slides. Hiten, who is here with me, is a Gujarati speaker, so if anyone has any questions and they prefer to ask them in Gujarati, please feel free. Hiten will either interpret for me or answer yourself if he has the answers himself. So what I'm going to do now is just share my screen with you all and give you a presentation. It will have a lot of the information that the videos gave, but I'm here to answer questions if you have any. So just give me one moment and do bear with me. I'm using a laptop that is 1 day old. So if I'm not 100%, it's because this is my first day using it. Thank you. So I hope that everybody can see my first slide.
Yeah, that's fine, Hope.
That's great. Okay, thank you. So as I said, I'm Hope, and Hiten is with me as well. And we are both employed by ONS, and our aim is to have everybody participate in this year's census and ensure that you're all counted and all represented in the way that you want to be represented. So as you heard in the videos, the census is just a survey that happens every 10 years. And I say just a little bit flippantly, but it's a survey that happens every 10 years. And everyone is asked to take part. The Office of National Statistics, which you will hear abbreviated to ONS, is responsible for carrying out the census in England and Wales. And as your guests on the video said, it's very important for many reasons, but mostly because it gives us, or it gives the country, detailed information about the society that we're living in and who lives in it. So every year, or every so billions of pounds are allocated to local services, and the census forms the foundation for a lot of this, of a lot of how the funds are allocated. It's used as evidence, as to back up applications for things, to support moves for things. For example, if you were to go to a shop like Tesco and see a certain number of disabled parking spaces in that Tesco's car park, the census data is used even to decide things quite as practical as how many spaces are needed for disabled people. So if a disabled person were not to complete the census, they wouldn't count. And so if that is multiplied, you can see that the services for them would be less than they actually need. So some facts about the census. The next census will take place on Sunday, the 21st of March, as you've heard. This does not mean that you have to complete the census on that day. It just means that when you complete the form, you have to complete it about information on that day. This census, and I'll talk more about what will happen in the lead up to the 21st and before. This census is what we are calling a digital first census. And that just means this is the first time that we are asking people to participate digitally. It is largely the desire of ONS to have most people submit their censuses digitally. However, we are not unaware that this may not be possible. And for that reason, a paper copy of the census and will equally count for those who want to do that. So some of the things that as an engagement manager, and I'm sure as Hiten in his community advisor role will know, one of the things that's people are very concerned about is keeping their personal information safe. So it's just something that I like to tell people, just so that if you're sharing the message with others, that you can encourage them. ONS will always keep your information safe. Before any of the information or the data from the census is actually shared, all personal information is removed. The only reason that names are needed is to prevent duplication, and so having people counted twice. Once the data is looked at and satisfied, it's separated, it's anonymized, and all the statistics are done without your personal details. However, personal details and everything else remain anonymous for 100 years. I think the feeling behind 100 years is that's long enough for nobody to be bothered if their information comes out 100 years after now. Even if you were only one, you know, you probably wouldn't be concerned. So yes, so all that data is absolutely anonymized. It's locked away and stored for 100 years. And maybe historians can go back and see things about people, but that's all that will happen. No individual can be identified by any information that they give, you know, so there wouldn't even be a case where you could try to figure out who someone is by any data. That will never happen. It is a legal obligation and has been since 1920. So it's one of those things that we are obliged to do by the government. Oh, sorry, just go back to this slide. And some examples of people who we can't share, well, we can't share with anyone, but just to satisfy people even more. For example, your data that you fill in will not affect anything from any other government agency. A lot of groups that we talk to are worried about things like their immigration status, their taxes, their landlord status, anything like that. It's to the point that even if it was needed to solve a crime, the data from the census is so secure that it can't be released to the police. Okay, so I have a look at this timeline of the census, and most importantly, we are around census. I don't know if you can just get my pointer out. So we are around here. Most households should have received by now a postcard, which I'll show you what it looks like if you haven't already received it. On the 1st of March, our public support telephone contact centres will go live. That means you can call and get help. And I will be sharing details of the telephone number for the contact centre with Mr. Nat after the meeting. I can't share it until it goes live so that people don't call and get frustrated before then. Then between the 3rd and the 13th of March, you will receive a letter or an invitation pack, which I will show you what it will look like. And this is when the census really kicks off. And of course, this is the census day. I'm not going to look at any of the letters because we don't need to look at that. So this is the census day, but as you see, you will get these letters 3rd to 13th, and there is absolutely no harm in completing the census as soon as you receive your pack. However, you will be referring to your circumstances on the 21st of March. So if you know that, well, I'm sure that won't be happening now in the COVID times, but for example, if a friend was coming to stay with you on the 21st of March, then you would have to, in the section about guests, complete that you would have a friend. So if you don't know your circumstances on the 21st, then yes, indeed, wait till the 21st or after. If you know everything you need to know about yourself on the 21st of March, then from the day your postcards arrive, you're free to go ahead and start to complete the census. So these are the postcards that I talked about. If this is one postcard, it's just the front and back. Most of you should have received it. If you haven't, it could still be coming. It also could have been mixed up with some leaflets, with other leaflets. So if you haven't noticed it, and it has been, I do apologize. But more importantly, this is the initial contact packs and letters. You'll receive a brown official envelope. It will not be addressed to you. It will be addressed to the householder, because the ONS do not know who you are until they don't know individuals. They just know the household, and they want responses from the household. So it will say householder. That doesn't mean it's junk, and it will be in a brown envelope. The letter will give you a 16-digit invitation code. This is your 16-digit invitation code. They will be unique. Each invitation code will be unique. And it is this invitation code that you will be able to use to access your online digital electronic questionnaire. If you are intending to request a paper copy, you will not need to use your digital questionnaire. Also in the pack, cursor's gone. Sorry about this. You will see a whole lot of information. You'll get other information, what you need to know about the census, answering questions separately from other people in your household. Everything about how it works will be in this pack. You will also have information on who to contact if you choose to request a paper copy of the questionnaire instead. You'll have telephone numbers, you'll have everything you need in here. So in order to make the census accessible to everybody, ONS have made a lot of effort to make it very accessible and to offer all the language support they can. However, the census can only be completed in English or Welsh. That's a legal requirement. You can't complete the census in any other language. It can only be completed in English or Welsh, but you will be able to get language support from the language support line in your own language. And if there is any other need for large print, Braille format, all these facilities are going to be made available. As I said, there will be a public telephone contact line for those who feel more comfortable contacting, where you can get lots of support, lots of help, even to specific questions. And this is just an example, well, this is just a list of all the languages that you'll be able to have supported. And as you can see, there will be Gujarati speakers available to speak to you. You will also be able to get information to support completing the census in Gujarati, should that be needed. So now I'd like to take you through the electronic questionnaire, but before I do that, I'm going to stop sharing and just check that I have any questions that people might have for me at this point, and then I'll reshare my screen to take you through the electronic questionnaire and hopefully actually show you exactly where question 16 is, and just let you see what it looks like, because we know some people may be a little bit off put by the doing it online. I certainly think it saves time, because it filters questions that you don't need to answer out, as opposed to the big thick paper where all the questions are there and you've got to decide which ones you do or don't want. So I'll just stop my share and I'll have a look at the chat.
There isn't any questions on chat.
There's no questions. Okay, so I'll move straight on to...
answered it.
Yeah. Ah, there is a question there.
It's just come up now.
Why is Scotland not included? And well, they have their own censuses. Scotland and Northern Ireland run their own census. They're not included in the English and Wales census. And I believe that Scotland have postponed their census. I'm not sure about Northern Ireland. ONS does support Ireland with their census, but they're run separately. I don't know why. Anything else? Okay. So if I just share again. Okay, so here is your electronic questionnaire. You will remember that in the letter, I told you will receive a 16-character access code. So when you go to the census webpage and say, start my census, you will hit this page and you'll need to enter in whatever the number was in that pack. So I'm just using a random number because this is just a demo. Now, the difference will be that you will not have to put your address in, you will just have to confirm it, because your code will be linked to your address, but it will ask you to confirm your address. So I'm just putting mine in because I don't have it. This is where you will go after you hit after you put your code in. You will then be asked, is your address correct? Questions that only allow you to answer one option have circles, and I'll show you later some questions that you're allowed to give multiple options will have squares. And you will be reminded, and I think it's important that I tell you again, that all your answers in this census are exactly as they are on the 21st of March. There may be some temptation to think about your circumstances, but for pandemic, that's not how you're to answer the questions. So if you're living with someone because of COVID, or living somewhere else because of COVID, you complete as if that's where you are living. If you're working from home because of COVID, you say you're working from home. You don't anticipate what you would be doing. We've asked everybody to do that, and that's exactly how the census will be done, because it is a snapshot. So throughout the questionnaire, wherever there's something that the builders of the questionnaire think you may need help on, you will see it written in blue. So if you don't know, it will, here, for example, it's asking about the household. If you want clarification of what that means, you'll be able to click any of these the blue words, and you'll get more information about whatever that is. I'm going to try and whiz through just so that we can get to some more important parts of the questionnaire. Right, so I told you about questions that you can have multiple answers to, and the responses being with squares instead of circles. So wherever you see a square, you can add multiple answers. So this question is about who lives at 5 the Ridgeway. And if I want housemates, I have the option to tick or to select all of these options, should I want to, because the response is a square. Where a circle, you're only allowed to tick one. That's just a clue. It's just something to help you so that you don't get stuck thinking, oh, which one applies. I'll just try and whiz through. And as I said, apart from everyone who've already mentioned, you will be asked about people who might be staying overnight. And it's just so that we know, okay, on that particular night, this person stayed here, etc. Obviously, in these times, we don't expect to see that too much. Right. So this shows you the 3 sections. So we're now moving on to the household and accommodation section. And for each section at the beginning, you will be told what you need to know in order to complete that section. So if you find you've gotten to a section and you don't actually know the information, maybe it's someone else in your household that does it, you will be able to save the form and come back to it later when the person who knows is around. Your information will be saved. If at any point you misplace your access code, lose your access code, you will be able to call and request a new one, or go online and request a new one. All that will happen then is that the old one will automatically be overwritten by the new one. So there won't be a duplication. It will just automatically, for that household, be overwritten. So if at any time you need a new access code for any reason, that's not a problem. Try and go through these questions quite quickly. So here we have another example that you can tick a number of the boxes should you need to. And so now I shall start the section where we have the questions. And once again, you'll be reminded, please answer the questions as what you're doing now. Don't try to second guess the pandemic. Don't try to say, well, ordinarily I'd be working on trains and buses. No, just treat it as it is on that day. And as again, at the start of the section, the information that a person needs to know in order to complete the section. If for any reason you get here, you don't know, you just save and continue. I'll try to make myself a little bit young. So I'm wishfully thinking I'm 30 and you'll be asked to confirm that. The reason why you're asked to confirm that is date of birth is one question that people tend to get wrong because they tend to just put today's date in. And if you were to put today's date in, it would say, are you 0 years old? And usually that rings true to people. So just for today, I'm 30. And here we have a gender question. This question has had a lot of looks at, but to answer this, you just need to answer in accordance to your sex on your passport, a birth certificate, any other official document. Marital status. So you have a number of options that are pre-populated. If you didn't want to, if these don't apply to you, so if you weren't born in England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, you can also select elsewhere and then write your date. As you see, as you start to write, a number of options drop down. So I'm going to say Malaysia, only because one of my daughters was born there. If you write that, you'll be asked, what date did you arrive in the United Kingdom? So I'll just put date. And then you'll be asked about where you lived a year ago. It's just, this question is used to see how many people are migrating across the country, moving to different areas. So is it somewhere you've lived for more than a year or not? And then how you identify, again, this is another question where you have the option to write other, or you have the option to select some of the ones that are there. So if I was to say other, save and continue. And since I said I was Malaysian, I'll just say I identify as Malaysian. What is your ethnic group? That's entirely up to you to decide. You can choose other. You can choose whatever you find appropriate. For some of them, for example, if you choose this, you still have to select from there, but that's something that everybody will answer for themselves. Okay, so here we have the all-important question that your community has been talking about. What is your religion? You can see there is a drop-down menu of religions. If none of these apply, you do have to select other. And then you save and continue. And it is here that you would write your own religion. So since I'm here, and you can see that as I start to type, Jane comes up and you select that. I can see someone has raised a hand. Would you like to ask a question before I move on? Is that Raman? Am I okay to take a question?
Somebody might have done it in error.
Ah, okay, I'll carry on. I think maybe it was an error. Okay. And again, here we have questions about your language, other. There's also an option. So if you want to choose another language, you just do. So I don't want to go through the whole questionnaire, but I do want to just check that everybody, how everybody feels, how confident they feel about using the electronic questionnaire. As I've said, it's not your only option. You do have the option to ask for paper. If for any reason you didn't get or see your letter, or somehow it's been thrown away accidentally because it wasn't addressed to you. If ONS do not get a response from your address within a certain period of time during the census period, it will probably be after the 21st, we have field workers that will go out to addresses. And the reason that they're going out is because sometimes people do accidentally throw away these envelopes. People do forget. They're not coming to challenge you in any way. They're just coming to say, we haven't received a response from this household. Is there a problem? Would you like another questionnaire? Would you like a code, etc.? So there's so many means by which that form or that code will come back to you. So as I said, if, for example, I don't return my census form, maybe a week or two after the census, I might get a knock on the door, which would shock me because no one visits anyone now. But then all the field officer will be saying, we don't have a record of a returned census form from this address. Is everything okay? Do you need another form? Do you need a new code? Do you need help completing it? Do you want the phone number? That sort of thing. So if I'm okay to, I'll stop sharing unless anyone wants me to go back and show anything or go further. Okay. And come back into the meeting. I can see a question in the chat. Is there a time limit to complete the form? What it is, there isn't the whole operation is not just one day. People can complete, for example, the electronic questionnaire at the moment is available until the 4th of May. So you can start, finish up until the 4th of May when the electronic questionnaire goes down. That doesn't mean that when it goes down, you can't complete, because we'll still be looking, we'll still be chasing, we'll still be expecting responses. It'll just then be that you have to submit by paper. So we'll just carry on trying to get these responses. But I would say, just for completeness, try to do it before the 4th of May. That's not the deadline. And even at that, there is possibility that the deadline for the, that the electronic questionnaire the time frame will be extended just because of COVID-19. Any more questions?
Thank you, Hope and Ethan, for the excellent presentation, which I'm certain our members found very informative. We are truly grateful to both of you.
Thank you
for your time and effort today. Thank you once again.
Mm-hmm. I've just seen a question come up. Will there be one code for all house members? So what it is, sorry, I don't know the name of the person that asked that question. There is one code for a household within, because I selected that I live alone, the separate sections of the form didn't come up. If there are more than if there's more than one person in the household, there are separate individual parts of the form for each individual to fill about themselves. So the way I went through and said that I'm, my religion is other, and I selected Jane, every individual member of the household will do that on their individual section of the form. And individuals do not have to fill the form with the general household members. They can select individual parts, which will then be attached to the form by matching it with the unique access code. Hope that answers that question.
That does. Thank you very much, Hope.
Thank you. No,
our next guest is Shri Mehulbhai Sangrajka, the Honorary Secretary of Navnath Board of Advisors and also Managing Trustee of the Institute of Jainology. The Institute of Jainology runs jainpedia.org, probably the world's largest website, Jain website, and also runs the Jain All-Party Parliamentary Group in Westminster. Shri Mehulbhai, welcome. the platform is yours. Thank you.
Jai Jinendra, and thank you for the welcome, Nitin Bhai. I also wanted to say a thank you to Nattu Bhai and the members of Vadil Mandal for this very kind invitation. So I know we're running a bit late, but what I wanted to do is just talk a little bit about why what Hope has just said matters for us as a community, very briefly. So in 2011, the last census that was done, only 20,000 people identified as Jain, 20,000. The surveys we've done through One Jain of Navnath Oshwal, Mahavir Foundation, Manchester, Leicester, shows that we have a population of about 65,000 Jains in this country. So there's a big gap here. And so when we started this about 3 years ago, we put a lot of effort into this. So Bob and Gareth, the two MPs for Harrow, who you saw earlier on, are part of the Jain All-Party Parliamentary Group. They represent us in Parliament, and they worked hard. There were debates on the floor of the House of Commons. We went to see government ministers, the Office of National Statistics, and even delivered a petition of 5,000 signatures to number 10 Downing Street. And our campaign was going really well. And then what happened was there was an election this time last year, and then the pandemic came. And in that, all of this stopped. So what has happened as a result is we've worked very hard with the Office of National Statistics. The videos you see have been approved by them. And we've agreed with them that because of what has happened, when this census is over, they will produce all the information for the Jain community as if we had a box. So all of it will be published in a booklet, and then Navnath can give it to Hillingdon Council and so on to show what the Jain community does, represents, and so on. All the information that's collected about health, profession, number of people, and so on. So what I wanted to do is briefly just tell you why it matters. At the moment, we're living in COVID. And that means that if one of your friends or family, unfortunately, has to go to hospital, you can't go with them. And what we would like is if they're in a hospital, that they're given Jain food. That means the hospital must know that there are Jains living in that area and can make food without potatoes, onion, garlic, eggs, etc. You want that if they need, they can get a Jain chaplain, somebody who can come and give them, Jain prayers, talk to them, maybe in Gujarati and so on. Again, this requires for the hospital to know, and the census is how they find out. Also, when you think of the council, if they're building care homes for the elderly, they must make facilities for Jain people. If they're building crematoria or grave, places for burial and whatever, they must take into account our needs so that we have these facilities. If your grandkids are going to school, the council should know that there are Jains living there and give them religious education on Jainism. Similarly, the BBC, when they're deciding on programs, look at this, and so on. So there's a lot of information that comes out of the census and is used by all of these people. And so what we want to do is push everybody who wants to identify as Jain to tick that box in question 16. Tick the other box and write Jain. Once we do that, we believe we should get to maybe not 65, but over 50,000. And then we will take that information, go to local councils, local hospitals, and do this as if we had that box. That is now the way that we want to do this. So I hope that you will all participate. I think for us, it will give us an opportunity to be represented in this country, to be accounted for, and when they're planning public services, that they take into account the needs of Jains as well. Things like, when we apply for planning permission for Navnath, or we want to build temples or derasars, or all of these things, depend on the census. So it's very, very important. The last thing I will say is that tomorrow at 4 p.m., there is a big census gala event. Navnath has already sent an email to everybody with all the Zoom codes and whatever. A very interesting event, and I hope you come. Navnath is represented by Ketanbhai Adani. And there are 5 Jain acharyas who are coming, leaders of all the major Jain communities. We have a big competition for kids, and the winner will be announced there. And, lots of other information. It'll be a fun event, 4 to 5:30 tomorrow. And we hope that you will all come. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them. But thank you so much, and Jai Jinendra.
Thank you, Mehul Bhai. Thank you, Mehul Bhai, for explaining why it is so important for us to complete the questionnaires comprehensively, particularly the religion question. And thank you very much for coming today and giving us your time. I will now request Natubhai Mehta to introduce our next guest. Natubhai, over to you.
So, Jai Jinendra once again. હવે હું introduce કરીશ આજના આપણા sitar player, Dr. Shantanu Sharma. She's a highly qualified music exponent with expertise in playing the Indian classical instrument sitar. She learned sitar under the guidance of several erudite teachers, including Pandit Debu Chaudhary of Senya Gharana. After completing her doctorate in Indian classical music from Delhi University, she went on to lecture there for 20 years, becoming senior lecturer of Indian classical music, and also was an artist in All India Radio. She is a published author of a book and many articles. Whilst in UK, Dr. Sharma provides music classes and performances in concerts. She regularly goes to care homes to provide healing therapy for body, mind, and soul with her music. So, without taking much time, over to you, Dr. Shantanu Sharma. Thank you for joining us, Shantanu Sharma.
Yes, can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes.
Namaste, sabko. Jai Shri Krishna. I'm glad that I am here again to play sitar in front of you all. And just I want to tell you that in September, I had a big surgery, that kidney removal surgery. I had kidney cancer in September. And because of this music, I am sitting here and playing in front of you. So I don't want any sympathy, but I want to tell, if anybody can get any illness, but if you don't want to give up, you can do anything and you can be better if you want to be happy. And music always heals very quickly. So I play music, I sing music, I listen music, and look, I am sitting here after that big surgery and playing in front of you. So today Nalinji asked me to play some classical music and tell some rag based songs, old songs, or any film songs. So I will not take much time to say more. I will play, but before that I want to tell you that how the notes changes the emotions. So there are 7 notes. Everybody knows that there are 7 notes, but other than 7 notes, there are 5 more that are flat and sharp. If you change any of them, the emotion will immediately change. So I want to show you something like pure notes are these are the all Shuddh notes, and the emotion are very joyous and happy. So like so if you will play in this, the feeling and emotion will come like very joyous and happy, joyful. But like I will show you only one note change, like ma. If the 4th note, I will do sharp, and you can feel the difference. This ma, you can feel that anxiety and some like bechani. again, I will do the Shuddh one. Sare ga ma pa ma ba ma ga. So only one note change can change the emotion. So there are like many notes. Like if I will show that Komal Re, like the flat one. Sare ga. This is a Shuddh one. Sare. And now I will show you the flat one. So this is like very gambhir, like very, what you say, serious one, or like so in this I use Komalda. So that I want to show you that only one note change can change the emotion. So now I will start with Vaishnav Janito. There is it is also again based on Khamaj Rag. In this Saga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. So I will start Vaishnav Janito. Vaishnav Janato tene kariye je मेरो पराए जाने दे पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान ना आने दे वैष्णव जन तो तेरे करिए मेरो पराए जाने सकल लोक माया सहुने बंदे निंदा न करे तेरी सकल लोक माया सहुने बंदे निंदा न करे तेरी बात काज मन बात काज मन निष्फल राखे धन धन जननी तेरी वैष्णव जन समदृष्टि में कृष्ण त्यागी परे जिनी मात्र जिव्याथ असत न बोले जिव्याथ असत्य न बोले पर धन न बचाले हाथ रे वैष्णव जन तो तेरे करिए पीड़ पराई जाने मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जीने दृढ़ वैराग जिना मन मारे राम नाम सु ताले लागे So this is bhajan written by Narsi Mehta, and it is in Gujarati, and I liked it very much. And only this one in Gujarati I know. Other songs I will sing in Hindi or some rag. Okay. So now I will play a little sad song that is from movie. I think it is from Pyasa, very old movie, Pyasa. It is from 1957. And the singer was Hemant Kumar. And everybody loves this lyrics of this song, and very philosophical lyrics. And the music was S.T. Burman's music. And this is Jaane Wo Kaise Log The Jinke. So I will play some tabla in it. जाने वो कैसे लोग थे जिनके प्यार को प्यार मिला, जाने वो कैसे लोग थे जिनके प्यार को प्यार मिला। हमने तो जब कलियां मांगी कांटों का हार मिला, जाने वो कैसे लोग थे जिनके प्यार को प्यार मिला। खुशियों की मंजिल दूरी तो गम की गर्द मिली, खुशियों की मंजिल दूरी तो गम की गर्द मिली। चाहत के नगमे चाहे तो आहे सर्द मिले, दिल के बोझ को दूना कर गया दो गमखार मिला। हमने तो जब कलियां मांगी कांटों का हार मिला, जाने वो कैसे लोग थे जिनके प्यार को प्यार मिला। बिछड़ गया हर साथी देकर पल दो पल का साथ, किसको फुर्सत है जो मांगे दीवानों का हाथ। हमको अपना साया तक अक्सर बेजार लगा, हमने तो जब कलियां मांगी कांटों का हार मिला, जाने वो कैसे लोग थे जिनके प्यार को प्यार मिला। हमने तो जब कलियां मांगी कांटों का हार मिला, जाने वो कैसे लोग थे जिनके प्यार को प्यार मिला। इसको ही जीना कहते हैं तो यूं ही जी लेंगे, इसको ही जीना कहते हैं तो यूं ही जी लेंगे। उपना करेंगे लब से लेंगे आंसू पी लेंगे, गम से अब घबराना कैसा से लोग मिलेंगे, प्यार को प्यार मिला, प्यार को प्यार मिला, प्यार को प्यार मिला. So it was the sad one, and the lyrics are so beautiful and philosophical that it was hit that time. It is hit now. Everybody loves this song. If he knows it, everyone knows that song. So this was again in like in this song I was using the all Shuddh notes and Tivra Madhyam also. Tivra Ma, that I said the like I said the Bechani is there. Humne to bas hariyan maangi, papa ma pa ma ma pa na na na. So this like sharp madhyam, Tivra Madhyam is working like a Bechani, the anxiety. So now I will say some another rag that is called Rag Bahar. So like some rags are like ritu, like the season में गाए जाते बजाए जाते हैं. So this Bahar is like the Ritu Bahar, when Basant Ritu is there, and then the few rags are there. You need to Basant Rag, Bahar, Basant Bahar, so and Hindol. So I will show you few rags from this season. This is Rag Bahar, and in this Sama Ma Pa Da Ma Pa Ni Sa Sa Ni Pa Ma Pa Da Ma Ni Sa Sa Ma Ma Pa Da Ma Ni Dha Ni Sa. So what is special in this? I am using both these. So both ni like this. Ni dha ni sa, komali pa, shudh ni sa, ni dha ni sa. So in Bahar we use both knees. So there is one more thing, that in one rag, if you are going up, you need to there are different notes, and when you are going back there are different notes. So it also depends the emotion, what emotion will come, like sa ma ma pa ni dha ni sa sa ni pa ma pa ga ma re sa. So I will play, and one more thing works, which tal we are using. So there are so many tals in Indian classical music. So first I will show you the 7-beat cycle that is called Rupak Tal. So in that there is 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2, this one. So I will set the Rupak Tal first. Tina, Dhina, Dhina. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. Jayati Jaya Jaya Ma Saraswati, Jayati Veena Padini, this was in Rupak Tal, Bahar Rag, and I was playing the Saraswati Vandana, and it goes very well because on Basant Panchami there is Saraswati Puja, and in this rag it goes very well. So we can, same Saraswati Vandana we can play in another rag also. So now in Rag Bahar I will show you in Teen Tal some very different bandish or song. Okay, so now I am using 16-beat cycle, or I will show you without tabla. I can show you. And I increase the rhythm also. So this dha dim din da, dha dim din da, dha tim tin ta ta dim din da. Ghungara babole chum chana na 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 na. Ghungara babole chum chana na 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 na. Ghungara babole chum chana na 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 na. Chum chana na 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 na. Chum chana na 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 na. Ghungara babole chum chana na 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 na. Chum chana na 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 na. Chum chana na 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 na. But I forgot to do the Komal Gandhar. I need to set the frets also. So in this I am using Komal Gandhar. So here I need to change the frets. So this was a Rag Bahar, but I changed the tal and the verse always works. So this is all like Shrangar Ras, and that Saraswati Vandana was all Bhakti Ras. But you can change with the rhythm and combination of the songs. Swaraj, sorry. Now I will show you that there is a rag Sohni rag. So in this, Saga Madhani Sa, and look, because I forgot to fix the frets. In Sitar, you need to shift the frets if you want to change the rag. And today I am doing so many rags, it is very difficult to remember. Now next. So in this, I am using the flat ray. So I need to shift this fret up. So my iPad, hold on. Can you hear me? Yes. So in this, Re Komal and Tivra Madhyam. And yes, all the lessons. Now you can see that change in notes. This is Rag Soni. And it is from film Swarna Sundari. And yes, I will try. If I do something wrong, so please for पहले ही क्षमा मांग लीजिए कुछ गलत हो because it is a purvang pradhan, means you need to show the higher notes and the higher octave. It is very difficult to sing very high notes, but I will try to do. I want to do more and more rag. So now, again I need to change the frets. Now I am taking Rag Hamir. And in this Rag Hamir, there is Madhuban Mein Radhika Nache. This is a song from Kohinoor movie, 1960. Very good. madhyam, both ma swar. I am using like pure ma and tir ma. I will show you how I am using. So in ascending order, I am not using pancham pa. But in going back, I am using pa in descending order. And then I am using tivra madhyam. And then shuddha madhyam. This is Rag Hamid. Not the meaningful words, like all words like the bowl of tabla or pakhavat. Nowadays, I easily get tired because I am in recovering from that surgery. So I easily get out of breath, but I'm doing well, and the music works for me. So now I will play a song that is in Rag Bhupali. Bhupali is a pentatonic rag. Like only 5 notes we use in this. In this, we are not using ma and ni. No ni. So this is without madhyam and nishad. Only 5 notes. And the song is very old song again from film Sahara. It is 1963's movie. And this is Pankh Hote To Ud Aati. So I will play in between some rag also and song also. I will mix it. This is again very high, and I am So this was Rag Bhupali. I think it is 9:30. Should I finish?
I think if you are tired, please look after yourself, and we can end it here if you like.
Yes. Now, can you repeat it again, because I was not.
I think if you are tired and if you want to end it now, please do. It's no problem at all.
So I will play one song and finish.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, please look after yourself first.
Yes. It helps me. You invited me, and I am preparing for it. It makes me happy. Okay. So now I'm finishing with the song Bekarar Karke Hame Yun Na Jaiye. This is song from 20 Saal Baad, and it is again 1962 film, and this is Hemant Kumar, singer is from बेकरार करके हमें यूं न जाइए, आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए, बेकरार करके हमें यूं न जाइए, आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए, देखिए वो काली काली बदलियां Again, I need to change the frets. I forgot it. देखिए वो काली काली बदलियां जुल्फ की घटा चुराना ले कहीं जुल्फ की घटा चुराना ले कहीं. Again, I am using कोमल था and कोमली. बेकरार करके हमें यूं न जाइए, आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए. देखिए वो काली काली बदलियां जुल्फ की घटा चुराना ले कहीं चोरी चोरी आके शोक बिजलियां आपकी अदा चुराना ले कहीं यूं कदम अकेले ना आगे बढ़ाइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए बेकरार करके हमें यूं न जाइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए देखिए गुलाब की वो डालियां बढ़ के चूम डाले आपके कदम देखिए गुलाब की वो डालियां बढ़ के चूम डाले आपके कदम खोए खोए भागे मेरे भाग में कोई आपको बना न ले सनम बहकी बहकी नजरों से खुद को बचाइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए जिंदगी के रास्ते अजीब हैं इनमें इस तरह चला न कीजिए खैर है इसी में आपकी हुजूर अपना कोई साथी ढूंढ लीजिए सुन के दिल की बात यूं न मुस्कुराइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए बेकरार करके हमें यूं न जाइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए. Thank you so much for listening and sorry for the mistakes. I have done so many mistakes and I will improve myself day by day. In next program, I will do better.
I don't think anybody noticed the mistakes.
So, because I am changing very quickly the rags, I need to change the frets. So, otherwise, you need to play one rag for half an hour. You are doing it. It is easy, but in this, I changed many rags.
But
So
I'm glad you did the last one because that was my favorite song. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, this is good. I also like. And the notes in this, like Gadhani Komal, so very beautiful notes we are using in this. And very good composition. Very good. So, yes, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm happy that I played.
Thank you, Dr. Shantanu. That was a beautiful rendition of sitar and vocals. I personally love the sound of sitar. It was a joy to listen to it. Thank you also for the insight into various rags and tal. It was all so interesting. I must say you played the sitar brilliantly. Thank you very much for your performance today. Thank you. I wish you a speedy recovery from your surgery. To the audience, thank you everyone for joining today. Do please join again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for Shri Krishna Bhajans by Kanakben Trivedi, and also on Sunday at 11 a.m. for the program Live from India, reciting 108 names of Parshanath Bhagwan and Darshan. My name is Nitin Savadia, and today on the Zoom team with me is Shri Arvind Bhai Mehta and Kishore Bhai Bhatavia. Amara sarvane Jai Jinendra and Jai Shri Krishna. Good night, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.